Hi, my name is Edwin, and I'm from Partner Insights from Pinterest. Now, one of the talks that have inspired me most happened in 2009. It was a TED Talk by Simon Sinek, and he spoke about awesome brands and how they're built. One of the things he said is, it doesn't start with the what or the how, but really the why. And the reason is the way we make decisions. Now, our brains are really cut into three specific pieces. The first is the neocortex. It's where there's rational thought and where we can pick up two devices and look at feature sets and tell the two apart in a rational manner. The other two is the limbic system. It's where decision-making is actually made. There's no language, it's creative thinking, and where we build trust and loyalty with people and products. It's in this area that we need to answer the why. And so answering the why becomes an incredibly important thing. One of the reasons that I came to Pinterest is really understanding the why when it comes to these digital platforms. I've been studying the space for almost 15 years, and when you take a look at all the platforms that we have available, we're usually on these platforms for one of three reasons. It's about connection, emotional expression, and this whole concept of discovery. So when we look at Pinterest and look at how different they are from the 14 experiences that we did research in, we see that there is something very different around this connection, expression, and action. As our CEO and founder says all the time, while we are social, we aren't a social network. When it comes to photo sharing, it's not about the belfie or the selfie. It's really about the content that our brands share with us. In fact, 3/4 of the pins on our platform are from publishers and brands that we work with every single day. But why we exist is really all around this concept of discovery, search, and shopping. Now that we have the why, what about the what? At the end of the day, when you think about the what, it goes from being open all the way to being much more specific. Am I killing time or browsing, or am I really trying to find doing something in real life? Again, when you look at Pinterest and you index it versus the 14 brands that we looked at, you begin to see that it's not about killing time or browsing at all. It's really about finding things to do in real life. Why we exist is all around discovery. How is through the repinning. And what consumers are actually doing is all about searching, shopping, and finding things to do in real life. At the end of the day, future orientation and personal curation leads to an open canvas for brand participation. And understanding the what and the why of Pinterest ultimately helps us get more from the platform. So as I was actually creating this piece of work, I usually bug my wife, and we talk about things like, how do I actually get more? And what does this whole concept of getting more mean to you? And she talked to me about how, do you remember Valentine's Day? And it brought me way back, several decades back. And I remember when I used to get these amazing Garfield cards, or cards from DC Comics or Captain America with a little Brax candy. Well, if you fast forward just a couple of decades, a couple of months ago was my son's very first Valentine's Day for his first grade class. And my wife, she literally spent almost a week of time melting crayons and using a Lego mold to give to the boys and heart-shaped Rice Krispies for the girls. If you think about where the advertising space is headed, it's very similar. Static banners are still fine. They still do the job. But what consumers as well as advertisers are doing is they're expecting us to take them to the next level. How do we connect? How do we engage? And as a result of that, what I hope to accomplish today is help you understand, do you actually get more when you connect with an audience on Pinterest? How do we actually help brands mean more to those consumers? Does the engagement on our platform do more? And then ultimately, do you save more when you're on Pinterest and you're investing? So let's get started. In May of last year, we actually saw that our pinners are 3 to 9 times more likely to be going through life's biggest moments. They're 9 times more likely to be having a baby, 3 times more likely to be planning a party, and about 2 times more likely to be remodeling their home. But that's not what's important. It's their reliance on Pinterest when it comes to these major life moments. And that's important because, as we all know, according to a study by Duke University, about 45% of the decisions that we actually make when we're buying things are literally unconscious. And as marketers, it's incredibly important to break through in those points of market entry. And when we can get to those points of market entry, we have an opportunity to literally shift and pivot a consumer and the brands that they might ultimately choose for a whole lifetime. And also when you connect with a pinner, you're more likely to connect with a decision maker. So what they eat, what they wear, what they put around their homes becomes incredibly more important. Ultimately, they're distinctive and distinguished. And as a result of that, pinners are 2 to 3 times more likely to be buying some of these things online, be it fashion apparel or even beauty products. This makes a whole lot of sense because the #1 feature that pinners have actually asked us about is to really create the buyable pin, which we launched earlier this year. More importantly, on Pinterest, we know that we're in a very interesting part of our product diffusion cycle. So when you talk about the scale that we have, it's not just about effective reach and scale, it's about the engaged scale that we have. Case in point, I'm going to talk about beauty mavens for just a second. If you think about what civic science tells us, or even Keller-Fay, in any given population, between 25 and 30% are considered brand advocates or mavens. They're folks that like to talk about brands, they like to push the agenda forward for products that they love. When you take a look at where Pinterest is, 55% say that they really want to try the newest products. They're risk takers. They're willing to break out of their routines, and more importantly, 41% say that their friends seek them for beauty advice. That's a 71% difference. More importantly, when it comes to the role that Pinterest actually provides, it comes down to the 3 Ds. It's all about discovery, decision-making, and this whole notion of desired inspiration. And what I love about this data is it's not just about the beauty mavens. You see this in food as well as fashion and health. It is consistent across all of these top categories that marketers really care a great deal about. Ultimately, we feel that you are going to get more when it comes to Pinterest. We're all about discovering, saving, and doing. And we're excited that the products that we're building will help you create awareness, harness intent, and drive the action that truly matters to you. Thank you very much for spending time with us today.